Hey, what's going on? It's like the biggest day of the year, right? National Signing Day 2024. Super excited because this is where like everybody's lives like really changed. Uh, Last night on my show, Chili's Two Piece, I had my guy Cooper Perry hanging out talking about his big day signing with Oregon. I thought it was really cool. Today, me and my guy Adam Beadle over there, over there, over there, over there. I got it. Boom. Over that.
I'm somewhere. I'm here. That's what matters.
Always your the official voice and host of Actual Flight Club, which is the official presenter of this show. Um, Man, Beetle, big day. You're in college yourself. You're like a year older than all these kids. What's this been like for you covering this and working a little bit closer with it, all hands on and stuff?
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, it really hasn't been the craziest of years. I think everything has gone pretty much as expected, as most people saw it. We haven't had any big shakeups. I think, honestly, the biggest thing that's happened between yesterday and today was Lucas Blumling switching his commitment from NAU to Fresno State.
Which is
But
big.
other than that, it's always cool to see these kids get the opportunity at the next level, and just to know that we have so many talented athletes in this state, just to see them even getting this type of recognition in the first place is super awesome. And so even though I'm watching it from afar, it still feels like you kind of get to be a part of the next chapter of these kids' journey.
Wide receiver core is super heavy. I've been talking about this for a long time. Obviously, headlined by like the Cooper Perrys, Dezmen Roebucks, and Nico Boncors, the Elijah Beemans, Gio Richardsons. Talk to me a little bit about that and what you've seen from those guys, from players like that from around the state, since you've been covering so heavily, mostly in the CUSD, but you've been making your way around.
Hey, gotta show some love to the OGs USD district. There's been some great wide receivers in this class, and obviously you talked about one. You had him on your show yesterday, Cooper Perry, who for the longest time in the state was the #1 overall prospect. And obviously Jamar Bill Goins coming up to take those ranks, but nonetheless, you highlighted most of them: Cooper, Dezmen, and Gio as well. You also got some other tight ends like Dylan Sims, who really has had a phenomenal year with Queen Creek, be able to do things. It seems like there's always this group of very talented wide receivers in the state of Arizona every single year. And I think when you look at the big name ones we've got this year, those guys really do back up their talents.
No, for sure. Hey, shout out to our guy Devin Horn, Timeout Dev. In case y'all don't know, he is a basketball guy, but spending a lot of time on Friday nights rolling around with like Pete No and guys like that, Fiesta Bowl, some of the other camera guys, and taking advantage of an opportunity to mostly cover Cooper Perry, which nobody was able to do mostly this season, but just taking advantage of his AIA pass to have a Cooper Perry season ticket. So shout out to our guy Devin Horn checking in over here today. But look, I think we're going to try to catch up with a few of these athletes. I think we've got one that's going to check in about 3 or 4 minutes. So until then, look, Northern Arizona University making their first trip back to the playoff. Shout out to our guy, E. Newman Wrights, runs things over there for I think it's the Daily Sun. Has been covering NAU very, very closely for the last few years. And, spectacular season, first year under Coach Wright. Our guy, Coach Roshman, really doing a job in that recruiting department. Kind of came together late, but they put together a heck of a class, highlighted by like guys like Jaden Taylor and a couple of those.
Yeah, they got some big dudes, and we're going to talk to one of them here in a little bit. But I think some of the other guys that stick out to me, some of those big guys, Weston Hancock and Hayden Doherty, who have been two of the biggest guys. And you got another Hayden too, and Hayden Fletcher, who we've talked about him all season long, just how he's stepped up to the plate and taken over that role for Liberty, and now he's playing for an Open Division championship on Saturday. And so I think what NAU's done is they have not only gotten really good recruits from the state of Arizona, but they have evaluated the state of Arizona really well. They're getting those guys that, aren't maybe necessarily getting a lot of P4 or non-P4 looks. And they're getting some really stellar dudes who have kind of been underlooked and really could come to NAU and make an instant impact. You talked about a guy like Jaden Taylor. That's one of the fastest kids in the state of Arizona. And so I think what these guys that NAU is getting, they've got 8 of them this season. What they're going to be able to bring to the table is really going to help the Lumberjacks. And you said it yourself, the first time they've been back to the playoffs, I think since 2018. Was that the last time they were in the playoffs?
2018 or 17 or somewhere around there, sometime just a little bit before the pandemic and stuff. But look, Jaden Taylor is an absolutely special kid and a huge get for them. That's a kid that kind of for the FCS level at least gives me those Travis Hunter vibes where he could possibly go both ways. He'll probably be there for a couple of years. Listen, the reality is the landscape of college football has changed a lot, and the transfer portal is really a thing. And a lot of these kids are going to ball out at one level and try to make it to the next level. And I think that Jaden Taylor is a kid that, is really, really going to get an opportunity to develop over there at NAU. And NAU coaches are going to be able to show what they are capable of doing. Coach Domino over there, super talented young receivers coach. And like I said, Coach Roshman's done a hell of a job putting a class together, out-of-state kids, plus a lot of these really attacking in-state hard, taking advantage of his roots in Arizona, coaching at Millennium, coaching at Liberty, brought in a dude at quarterback like Hayden Fletcher, like you brought up, and then Hayden Doherty, an absolute stud tight end over at Highland, who had a lot of big school interest early in his career. And I think that they're probably going to try to make a play for another big-time wide receiver. And one kid that we're trying to get in touch with, our guy Aidan Browder over there from Chandler, super talented linebacker, plays super fast. So hopefully he can get a connection going sometime soon. But we do got to get to our first guest, and I can't wait because I'm super excited. These guys are really trying to make some inroads in the state of Arizona. So without further ado, we are going to bring on this special guest. Really want to talk about him for a second, though. Highlight some things. Wyatt Horton, the flamethrower from Pinnacle. These numbers are absolutely mind-boggling. 3-year starter, almost 8,000 yards passing, almost 1,500 yards rushing, right at 1,376, 100 total touchdowns. My dude is just finding ways into the end zone for his team. Look, Idaho State's a tough place to win. I think my man's going to get the job done. Before we bring him on, Beetle, I got to know. Give me the juice and talk about what Wyatt Horton is going to bring to the table.
I mean, you said it yourself. The stats stick out. This is a kid who is consistently at the top of the passing leaderboard, the total yard leading board, the rushing leaderboard every single year in the state of Arizona. And I mean, you look at that, over 100 career touchdowns. I mean, this is a kid you can rely on that's always going to get the job done. I think if you look at the stats, he might tell you that his favorite stat from the last 3 years is beating Horizon every single time. But I mean, this is a kid that has just been reliant. It led Pinnacle to the state championship in his sophomore year. He had 2 very talented wideouts alongside him, and he's been able to. He's that kind of guy that honestly kind of reminds me at times. He kind of looks a little bit like a Sam Levitt, just in the way that he is so aware in the pocket and being able to just turn his head very quickly. And if he's got to take it himself and run, he's going to do that. But he could also find a wide receiver who just burned a man 50 yards downfield to make the perfect throw.
Hey, well, let's go ahead and drop the graphic and bring him on, the one and only Wyatt Horton. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Dude, just hanging out, trying to talk about you and show love. What you've done in your career is absolutely crazy. I still remember, I believe it was your first varsity start, maybe your second varsity start over there at El Camino in California. When you made it rain, you went out to California, went to the coast and said, hey, I'm going to make waves. I'm going to make this thing rain. Grab your umbrella, 5 touchdowns, no problem. Let's go back to the beginning. Talk to me about that whole experience with Deuce and Miles and all those guys.
Yeah, 2022. That was a special year for myself personally, but also the team. And it all started off at that Oceanside, California game that you were at. First play, 55-yard touchdown, first ever varsity play. So that's one way to start a career. Definitely one of my favorite high school memories. But I mean, and then that game too, 5 touchdowns. Then we, the next game was tough. We were against Liberty. They put it to us, and then another 5 touchdowns versus Queen Creek, another 5 versus Horizon, and I looking back at it, that was a start of something great. So yeah, I mean that 22 year, obviously having a unicorn Deuce at receiver, and then Miles, who's at Stanford now, is like I mean, there's even Colson, who's at ASU now, Mac Richards, like Eli Page. Like that team was definitely a good team to start off as and get some confidence.
Hey, I know my guy Beetle has a ton of questions for you, but I got to know real quick. Idaho State, a lot of people say Pocatello is a tough place to win. What made you choose that place? Because you had a ton of other opportunities, and what made you say, "Hey, it's got to be Pocatello. I think I can get the job done over here and bring some dubs."
I mean, there's definitely a lot of factors that went into that. I can't really narrow it down to one or two things, but I mean, honestly, it's just how they've been to me and my family throughout the whole process. They're real. There's a lot of stuff in recruiting that shouldn't be, but from the jump I could tell that they're a school that genuinely wants me and came after me. The second they watched me throw. Our first day of spring ball, their QB coach called me and figured out how he could see me, and he was there that day. So I mean, just from the start, that was huge for me. And then went up there, met the people, not just the QB coach, the head coach, the receivers coach, D coordinator. It was really everyone up there just were special and made it feel like a home, and kept talking, committed, and then went back up for my official, and I kind of just confirmed why I chose Pokey. I thought it's a great place to play at. They throw the ball, I believe, the most in the Big Sky. Probably most in the FCS. They do some run and shoot offense, and it was something I fell in love with early.
Wyatt, what is it like for you, just knowing you're like you mentioned, you're going to a place where they throw the ball quite a bit, and just going there and having the chance to compete for the job early on and know you're going to throw the ball a whole lot? Kind of what is your mindset going into that?
I mean, my dad and I were just talking about it. It's kind of just back to square root, back to basis. It's just, now it's a competition, and and it's what I love. So now, just kind of, I'll get up there late May. So, kind of from this point on until May, just kind of get my body right, getting, everything clean with the mechanics, and getting in the playbook. Now that I signed, I can get a program going for lifting, get the playbook, and kind of just start this whole process of where I want to be, because they have a great team, and I think I can add a lot to the table and bring a lot. They didn't make the playoffs this year, so that's already one of my biggest goals for next year is to make the playoffs, and just to bring winning back up there. Is kind of one of my big goals.
Hey, Wyatt, me and you have talked about a whole bunch of things, college recruiting, stuff like that, legacy over there at Pinnacle. At Pinnacle, like you're part of this esteemed quarterback program, Spencer Rattler, Lewerke, JD Johnson. Did any of them give you any advice, through the recruiting process that you were like, hey, Idaho State's going to be a place for me?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not even necessarily just with the process, with recruiting, but kind of more just like, I mean, shoot, my brother played here, as you know, and so he kind of, I got to know them since I was in 7th, 8th grade, even 6th grade, and so I've had a relationship with them, and just like they're off doing their own thing right now, but whenever they get the chance, they text me, hit me up, and they're great influence and great role model for me, and that a lot of those guys I like to chase their what they did at Pinnacle, and it's been fun to look at the numbers, and a lot of us kind of talk and laugh about it. It's like I was trying to get some of Spencer's records, but I mean, he 4-year starters, he was obviously a special dude, so that was tough to do, but Coach Zupke said in our signing ceremony today, it was only Spencer and I that have been the only 3-year starters. So I did a lot of cool things, and it's kind of been cool because of who they are and the pedigree that we've had. But no, they've been amazing for me. They've given me tons of advice. They reached out during the state championship week, and kind of just lifted my spirits.
Why? How much has Coach Zupke meant to you? Just kind of with him, feeling confident in you so early on and giving you the keys. And how much has he helped to build you into the player you are today, and just helped you grow?
Coach Upke's the man. And I think, I mean, again, like I just said about the quarterbacks, I've known Zupke since I was in 6th, 7th grade, because of my brother. And so he and I are, he's more than just a coach to me, he's family. And, which is why I have such a close relationship with him. And, I'm very appreciative of all he's done for me. And, the way he has given me the keys and trusted me with all of it. He's a big man I play for, and I wanted him to get a ring. I'm disappointed it didn't happen, but I know he's gonna keep striving at it, keep working, clean some stuff up always. But I mean, it's really too the people he puts around me. It's not even not just a one man show with Coach Upke. It's Coach Carroll and Coach Hanshaw, Coach Angel, Coach. I mean, I could Coach Dom. I could go on and on about the staff that he put in the room. It's really top down. Pinnacle's been an incredible program for me to be in, and I'm very grateful.
Hey, listen, Wyatt, I'm super fascinated because, like, I know that you held like offers from like Washington State and some other places, but Idaho State was such a unique situation where you get to lay down the foundation, you get to kind of create the path, and you get to kind of maybe be first to really make it like out of there. So,
Yeah.
Did any of that factor in on your decision of choosing Idaho State?
Definitely. My big thing from honestly sophomore year when I got my first offer was, okay, talk to my brother who's been through the process, and his biggest feedback for me was, go where I'm wanted. And so, I think I can tell that I know I'm wanted there, which is, going to be good for me to get on the field and get playing hopefully early on. I got to, obviously go up there and earn it, but yeah, I mean, I want to get up there and, I don't even want to, put it into words right now. I just want to get up there and prove it to everyone, kind of prove it by breaking some records, winning some games, and, just do the best I can do.
I love it. Hey, I'm gonna let Beetle get one, and then I'm gonna get one more. And I'm gonna let you go.
Sweet.
Why, I know you're pretty outspoken about your faith and on all that, and how much of that did how much did your faith kind of play into the decision of choosing Idaho State and really narrowing down your lists of final choices?
I mean, faith it's my foundation. I wouldn't be standing, how I do without it. And so, just God and the relationship I have with that is, it's the world to me. And, it's helped me with the whole process because, he's always consistent. And, the process can definitely be challenging at times. Like I got 2 early offers after my sophomore year, and then it was kind of a year gap with nothing really. And then Utah State offered, and boom, there's 7 more like that. And it's like, but during that whole time, the whole process, just unwavering belief and just trusting in his plan is what makes it easy to just follow. So it was huge for me.
Hey, Wyatt, before I let you go, last question. And me and you have talked about some of this before, but I know you're recruiting the state hard. I know that you went heavy after Elijah Beeman. Are you guys getting some workouts in? How are you guys planning on attacking this situation over there at Idaho State? And, can we expect you guys to really be breaking a lot of records out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's Elijah Beeman. There's Dominic from Corona del
Dom
Sol.
Ruiz, yeah.
Yeah. So those are just 2 receivers. We have 1 or 2 other AZ boys. We have Trey Shorty from Williamsfield.
That's right. Defensive back.
And then there should be another one soon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but
Uh-oh.
no, I mean AZ boys. There's around 5 or 6 up there already right now. But no, I mean Elijah's a dog. I played against him in the semifinal game my sophomore year. And it's funny. I remember I just kept hearing him on the loudspeakers when I was on the sideline. While they were out on offense, and I know he's a great player, and he was definitely one to push to commit. The staff saw the same thing I did, and same with Dominic. We played against him week 3, and so it's cool. It's cool. It's coming around full circle, and playing with guys I just played against.
Okay.
But no, they're gonna be special players for us, and we're gonna be linking soon to get that connection.
Hey, I love it, man. I can't wait. I told you when you're announced a starter, 2 games later, I'm gonna pop up at a game. So I know it's gonna happen probably sooner than later. So why I appreciate you. 4 years. Hey, we've been rocking 4 years. I watched you play 1 game every year, including your freshman year. So you can't say that I didn't support.
True that. True that.
All right, my man. Take care.
All right. See you guys. Appreciate it.
Oh man, our guy Wyatt Horton, absolutely special, man. Man, makes me sad. Like, I don't want to say like emotional, but like a lot of these kids, like I literally watch them like grow up, which is absolutely crazy. Our next guest is an absolute monster. Can't wait to chop it up with him. But your thoughts, Wyatt Horton, over there, I think he's running numbers up over there. I don't care what nobody says. You can't tell me different.
Yeah, Wyatt's definitely will as I go through, career and stuff like that. 2022 was the first year I got to cover high school sports, is when I started covering high school sports. So Wyatt was one of those kids that was kind of really like one of the first kids I started covering and started advocating about, like, hey, this kid's legit. Like, as a sophomore coming in, leading this team to a state championship. We forgot to ask him. He's going to the state that's known for their famous potatoes. Got to know if Wyatt's had the best potato he's ever had yet. So that we'll save that one for later. But and he talked about how strong this AZ connection is between Idaho State, and I think we've seen what NAU's done. I think we also got to acknowledge what this Idaho State staff is doing, and bringing in these AZ guys. And so I think long term, Wyatt has been set up by this Idaho State coaching staff for long-term success. I think Wyatt, although I think someday he'll find himself probably at the FBS level, I think for however long he is at the FCS level, he's going to have no trouble succeeding.
Absolute dog. Wyatt the GOAT, our guy K Visuals, who made all the graphics. Shout out to him. Got to show him some love.
Shout out K Viz.
Hey, one of the best graphic guys in the game. So I just want to make sure I show love. Hey, look. Besides Idaho State, there's another school that's really rating the state of Arizona, and that would be Kansas. And they do it again this year. Guys like Garrett Martin, guys like Anderson Kopp. Your thoughts on what Kansas is doing within the state of Arizona?
Lance Leopold has done a phenomenal job coming in and just taking a look at some of the very talented players we have here. Obviously, we all know who went there in the 24 class, Deshaun Warner, who had a big year. I think he was in the 2 deep for most of the season. He was traveling with them. So it was good to see him get those early reps. But Kansas has just done a phenomenal job at building and keeping the relationships they have with the kids here in the state, the coaches here in the state. You talked about Kopp. You talked about Martin. Those are just 2 of the kids that are going to Kansas this year. And I know there's a lot of the kids in the 26 and the 27 class, even the 28 class, that have gotten offers, gotten looks from Kansas. And so I think that the Jayhawks are certainly looking at growing that AZ to Kansas pipeline.
Well, hey, before we get too far into it, let's talk about Anderson Kopp. He's going to come up next on the show. My man, 0 sacks allowed in 2 years. His quarterback jersey clean because Anderson Kopp handling that business. The anchor of that Brophy offensive line, which was rated by many as #1 in the state. Anderson Kopp's been an absolute beast. I watched him his freshman year competing versus Basha. If I remember correctly, I think that game even ended in a tie. Both teams hated it. Anderson's an absolute dog, though. So we're going to catch up with him. How about right now? Anderson, what up, man? Hey, what do you think of this graphic? Be honest. This is a fire graphic.
No, I like it. The KU staff does a great job on media. I mean, they send us new graphics every single week. On Instagram, when they posted, like, when you're officially on the team, they posted us in, like, the new EA Sport, like, actually, like we were players and, like, different clips.
That's tough.
So, I mean, the graphic team does a great job. They send, like, new stuff out every single week.
Man, I love it. Hey, Anderson, talk to me, man. I know that you are a Kansas legacy guy. How does that feel to be able to follow in like your pop's footsteps and stuff?
Well, actually, my dad, or is it his picture's right there? That was him back in college, 57.
Wow.
He played D tackle. So I mean, just following his footsteps is amazing. Like you said, I grew up a Kansas fan. Been rooting for Kansas even when I don't know if you remember, but Kansas has not always been the most competitive team. Back in like the 2016, 2017 era, I mean, we'd be lucky to get 1 or 2 wins. But even through then, I've been Kansas all the way. And the fact that I get to go back to like my second home, which is Lawrence, is fantastic. 2 of my cousins are at Kansas right now. One's the equipment manager. The other one's a freshman. My grandpa's like 40 minutes away in Kansas City. So it truly is like a second home for me.
Anderson, I saw you were wearing your dad's jersey during the signing day today. What did it mean to be able to rep that and to etch your name officially into the history as a Jayhawk?
I mean, it's great. Like I said, legacy child or legacy kid. It's just like nostalgic. I mean, I remember as a little boy, I was like, one day I want to play for the Jayhawks. And like it seems so far away and so impossible. But like the fact that it's come full circle now and I get I'm officially a Jayhawk now. It's fantastic. Like, yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, it's out of this world. I still can't process it.
Hey, we're so much closer to it now. And we've talked about this before, but what are some of the things that you're looking forward to doing first once you put your feet on campus besides the football activities?
Well, just meeting the kids at school. As you know, Brophy is an all-guys school. So I'm looking forward to finally having some interaction with the opposite gender. So that'll be pretty exciting. Also, like beautiful. Lawrence is a beautiful campus. Just very scenic, walking around there, and I think those are the 2 most things I'm looking most forward to. I don't think a lot of kids can say that, but yeah, I mean, I've gone to school with guys the last 4 years, so I'm excited to switch it up.
Hey, 0 sacks in the last 2 years. I gotta know, who really gave you competition though that you were like, oh man, this guy might get me. Like, I can't let this guy get, like, who stepped up against you and you were like, that week you were like, man, I really got to make sure that no matter what, that I'm doing everything I can. I'm bringing my A game.
Well, first off, when you go against Caleb Jones, I mean, down at Mount Point, he's a dog, straight dog. He was a good challenge with him. It was just a lot of quick set, get on him quick. He's powerful. I mean, you can't step back with him or else he's gonna take you on a magic carpet ride, as my dad likes to say it. So Caleb Jones was a good competition, and honestly, like I think another good one that I really locked in was we played Perry twice, and they played odd front, and like their nose guard is just small, shifty, and he just straight up hits with his head only. So I think because like the easier guys are the bigger guys, because if you just quick set them all the time, it's not really a challenge. The hard guys is when you get like all the shifty guys interiorly, and like you can't really quick set them because you don't want them to like go inside or outside. Like you have to be more patient. But I would say probably the Perry guy, to be honest. He was like 6'3", like 240ish. So he was a little skinnier. But with him, it was probably the Perry. We played him twice too, so I gotta go against him 2 times. But yeah, I would say probably the Perry guy, because like a lot of the interior guys are bigger guys, and the bigger guys aren't that bad because if you quick set them, you're fine all game. But it's more the elusive guys that give you more of a problem.
Hey, it seemed as soon as like Kansas offered you already knew. Yeah. It didn't matter who else came in. Is that true?
I wouldn't say it's 100% true. I always win my options, but Kansas had a special place in my heart. And I commend my parents for never putting pressure on me to go into Kansas. Of course, they would love if I went there, but they never were like, Kansas is the home, Kansas is the home. They let me make the decision on my own, because I was talking to Coach Leipold, and he was like, at the end of the day, it's like you're the one playing football. You're the one that's going to be here for the next 4 years, waking up early, grinding in the weight room, on the field. So, like, it's really what you want and where you see yourself. And, like, honestly, if I would put all my family history to the side, I think I would still pick Kansas, just for the other commits there are great guys. I love the coaching staff. The new facilities are amazing. It's a beautiful campus. So, honestly, if my parents never even went to Kansas and I know family in Kansas, there would still be a good chance that I would pick the Jayhawks.
And for those that don't know, it's not just your dad that played at Kansas. Your mother also went to Kansas. So I find this situation absolutely fascinating and unique. Beetle, I'm gonna let you ask a couple questions, and then I'll get one more in and let Anderson go.
Anderson, you mentioned that Kansas hasn't always been at the top of the pyramid amongst the teams, not just in the Big 12 in the country. In recent years, they've had some success. Probably didn't have as much as they wanted to this season. But what have you liked about what Coach Leopold has done with the team the last couple of years, and just the trajectory that the Jayhawks are on right now?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is a culture change. I mean, the culture in Kansas in the last 5 years has completely changed. I mean, all the guys have truly bought in. And when I went back there this last summer, the biggest thing I noticed was how healthy the locker room was. All the guys wanted to see each other succeed. And I think nowadays with all the NIL and all the money stuff, you might not get that in many schools because a lot of guys are looking for the big paycheck or something like moving around schools. But I didn't get that sense at Kansas. And it's really a brotherhood there that I love personally, like being at Brophy. We strive to be like men for others and be brothers. And I truly felt that at Kansas. That I don't think Kansas could stay the same when we were struggling through the 2016, 2017 seasons. I think it was very shallow locker room. But I mean, a prime example this year is, Kansas was 1-5 at one point, and we could have so easily just sat down. I mean, we were 1-5, and we were going to Iowa State, then BYU and Colorado, and the locker room could have easily just been like, "Oh no, we're done. Like I'm ready at the transfer portal, or I'm ready to start for next season." But it's a true testament to the locker room when you're 1-5 and then you win 3 straight ranked games in a row. The first time that's ever happened for a non-ranked team to beat 3 ranked teams in a row, and that just shows you the culture in the locker room was that these guys were never going to give up and that they were going to play for the guys beside them. So I think that's the most special thing that Coach Leipold has brought to the program.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of the Arizona guys that are there? I know Garrett Martin's in your same class. How much have you talked with him? And also, there's another offensive lineman there that's in the 24 class last year, Carter Larufsky. Have you chatted with him at all about the offensive line room and talking with Garrett too?
Yeah, I talked to him all a lot. I mean, me and Garrett are rooming next year. So, I mean, we
there you go. There you go.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be crazy.
Yeah. So me and Garrett are rooming next year. So I talk to Garrett like almost every single day. I talked to a lot of Desert Edge guys. Those are kind of my boys. Like I talked to John. I was there actually for the Colorado game. I talked to John and DJ. I talked to Carter about the O-line room. He says it's just like I said earlier, like the guys truly love each other and they truly care for each other. And that's the program I want to be a part. And like all those guys are great guys. Like John, DJ. Like they're amazing guys. Garrett, great guys. So that's what I'm most excited about. Is like everyone at Kansas is just like looking out for each other and just great people.
So I gotta know. You said you're rooming with Garrett. So is Garrett going to be your wingman then? When you guys are, is that how it's going to roll?
Well, I think Garrett has a girlfriend. But yeah, I think he would be. Be my wingman. Our other roommate is the quarterback commit, David McComb. So I think I got 2 good wingmans.
Hey, I got 2 questions, and then I'm gonna let you go. Garrett Martin being your roommate, I want to know, how are you guys going to settle debates and discussions? Like who gets more of the fridge, or who gets the bigger parts of the closet, or things like that. How is that stuff going to be settled since there's a quarterback in the room also?
All right, so it's kind of unique, and I think the like about Kansas is like the apartments are massive. So just think of it like everyone gets their own room, closet, and bathroom.
Oh, okay.
There's 4 guys to an apartment, and everyone gets their own room, closet, and bedroom. And there's also a communal area. And I mean, all the guys said that they're like clean freaks, so they keep it all clean. But for the fridge, I think I don't know. That's a good question. I think we're gonna be eating so much food. I don't think there'll be a lot of room left in the fridge.
One-on-ones are gonna be crazy in the
they're gonna be ecstatic. I can't wait.
Hey, last question before I let you go. Anderson, you said your pops was a D tackle. You're obviously offensive lineman. I got to know who's winning that battle: young Anderson Kopp versus young Pops Kopp, head to head. I know you've watched the video. You had to have. Who's winning that 1v1?
I think I'm winning personally. I think in a board drill and a pass rushing, like his pass rush was good, but like in high school he was pretty light. He was like 220-ish. So I think I just weighed in like 280ish. So I think I just got size on him. So I think I'm taking home the dub. My dad would disagree though. My dad think he would whoop me.
Of course, old school. You know the deal. Anderson, I appreciate you hanging out. I'm one of the best offensive linemen that I've covered for 4 years, and I've told everybody that. So man, I can't say enough about you. And thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch up with you down the line. All right.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And always love being on.
All right, I appreciate you. Man, Kansas really doing a thing. Hey, we got to jump right to the next guest too. We were talking about NAU making inroads within the states, really attacking Arizona hard and taking care of business. Tons of great players. One of them being this gentleman right here. Let me see if I can bring this graphic up real quick. Got to show some love to our guy, Aidan Browder, an absolutely special linebacker, plays super fast. Absolutely destroyed the 40 times up at an Oregon camp, up at a U of A camp. 138 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks in his career. Kid's absolutely special. Adam, the things that you've seen, and I know you've watched him a little bit closer than some of the other guys because you are Hamilton alumni, so you've watched the best of Aidan. Adam, go ahead and let me know.
Well, so yes, I have kind of watched him closer, and it's not because I went to Hamilton. And I don't know if you know this, and a lot of people might not know this. Aidan is actually my next door neighbor.
What?
So I've known this kid for 10, 11 years. And I've seen him just progress and grow and grow and grow. And Coach Cheatwood knows it too. Getting to see his development, getting to grow. This kid's huge. Like you do not want to be running towards Aidan Browder, or else he will pick you up and he will throw you to the floor.
Since you guys are friends, that's a great neighbor to have because he's always going to have your back. So
exactly.
And he's fast. So
right.
something bad is going on. He's first one there.
I mean, he is truly developed into the type of player you could ask for. He's a great athlete, and he's got all the perfect traits. And NAU did a great job recruiting him, I think this is just the perfect place for Aidan.
All right, well, let's go ahead and bring Aidan on. Aidan, what's going on, man? How are you feeling right now? It's all done and behind you.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. It was good. I've been building the relationship with all the coaches at NAU forever now, and it's great to finally have it official.
Yeah, no, and I caught you on your actual official visit up there, man. Look, Aidan, I know you dealt with some injuries this year. How are you feeling and fully recovered from everything? Like, are you rip roaring ready to go? Like, put the pads back on and get to business?
Yeah, I'm feeling great now. I've been doing PT twice a week for the past couple of weeks, and all I needed was some complete rest and didn't need to rush back in the field. So I'm feeling really good now, and yeah, I'll be ready to go in May for sure.
Aidan, I know you took a while for colleges to kind of start, jumping on you and giving you the attention you deserve. But what was it about NAU that stuck out to you and I knew you needed to call it home?
Yeah, it was definitely a different environment up there. It's the first year with Coach Wright, Coach Shewood, and all his staff. So their goal is to change the culture up there, and you can definitely tell that they're trying to turn that program around. But not just the wins in the field, but the culture off the field and how they care about the players. So that's definitely something that stuck out and a big reason why I chose to go to NAU.
Are you a skier at all? Are you going to take advantage of the opportunities to go skiing in Flagstaff?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the mountains.
Are you a snowboarder?
From the campus, yeah, snowboarder. I just got a new snowboard for my birthday, actually.
What?
I'm definitely going to take advantage of that, yeah.
What kind of snowboard you get?
It's a Burton. That's
okay.
a pretty nice one. Yeah, it's my first time owning a snowboard before I rented it. So, yeah, I'm planning to get a little more serious in snowboarding since the mountain's so close.
Okay, I dig it, man. NAU, they do got a special class together. Were you a part of helping to recruit locally and bring some of these guys up there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was always talking to the teammates, or my teammates now, but the recruits at the time, telling them that it's going to be different now. NAU's not just going to be another average program. They're stepping up their game and trying to build a winning culture over there. So yeah, I was definitely part of getting some dudes up there Yeah.
And it's working. Look, they just made it to the playoffs. I know it didn't work out the way that they wanted in the first round, but just seeing that first step, getting into the playoffs, and knowing that that's the team that you're going to be walking into, what's that make you feel like? Like, because you don't have to build the foundation anymore.
Yeah, that's huge. It's the first time in years going to the playoffs, and it's the first time, or it's the first year under their new coaching staff. So it's just going to build up from there. Super excited to be a part of something that's on the rise right now.
Hey, I'm gonna let Beetle get a couple questions in. I didn't know that you guys were neighbors and stuff. Did you know that? Like, were you like, oh, hey, Beetle, I see you doing all these interviews. What's up, neighbor?
No, yeah, we've been like hanging out ever since we were 10 years old, playing around the block with our other neighbors. Yeah, we've known each other for a while now.
Definitely goes way back, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Aidan, I know you've Chandler seemed like a perfect place for you. How was it just being able to learn and be coached by Coach Garrettson? And you were there during a time in which there were some pretty talented other linebackers there. Kennedy Urlacher was there. What was it just kind of like learning and being mentored by them?
Yeah, it was great. There's some dudes that were ahead of me at Chandler for sure, like Roman Kupu, Kennedy Urlacher, as you mentioned. Even last year, Nate Escondone playing next to him. He's a good player too. They're just showing me the ways and the culture that we have set at Chandler. And like in previous years, Chandler did not lose, and that was the culture that was set. So it was great having that mentality switch and those guys showing me the way.
Man, hey, Browder, you've had a hell of a career, man, and you've done some amazing things. I got to watch you at camps and play a bunch of sevens with like turf and stuff like that. What are some things that you feel like you left in terms of your legacy over at Chandler?
So this past year, obviously, we had a super young class, and my main goal was just showing these young guys, young sophomores, the way Chandler football is supposed to be played, and that was a big thing I tried to do. And it was a little harder, obviously, me getting hurt half the season, but that's an impact I try to leave there, not just how to play on the field, but how the culture should be out the field, and that's something we're working on over there for sure.
All right. Hey, Aidan, I really appreciate you hanging out with us and spending some time with us. Good luck up there in Flagstaff. I cannot wait to cover you when I'm out there because I know my guy Roshman's going to make sure that I get up there for at least one game. So I will definitely be seeing you up in Flagstaff. And Adam just going to walk out the door and say what's up. So because he was right next to you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
All right. Take care, Aidan. Sheesh. I didn't know that you guys were like next door neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've known his family like almost my entire life. I think I moved to the house that he's next to when I was in like second grade. So, and I've lived there ever since. So basically 10 years. And, he's comes from a very athletic family. His dad played in the MLS, I think. So, it's just, they got a bunch of good athletes over there. MLS. Soccer.
MLS? Really?
Yeah, soccer. Yeah.
Man, crazy. That explains some of that speed because my man can move. Browder is one of the fastest linebackers that like I've seen in the state. So super talented kid. Love watching him do his thing. Hey, you brought up Kennedy Urlacher, the Notre Dame commit from a year ago. Speaking of Notre Dame commits, we do got one that's going to join us here. He goes by the name of Cree Thomas, in case you didn't know, part-time picture taker. Cree visuals, if you haven't seen it before, get familiar. My man's has had a career over there at Brophy, 116 tackles, 1.5 sacks because he can do all that. 3.5 tackles for losses, not afraid to come up and make the hits. But my man is a pure DB, 9 interceptions, no problem. Throw that thing up there. He's gonna go do his Cree thing and go get it. What do you think? The Notre Dame commit, Cree Thomas, and he's been committed for a while.
Yeah, totally. This is just a guy that's got that in terms of just when it comes to being a ball hawk, is phenomenal. He's got great eyes. Just keeping his eyes on the QB the entire time he's on the field. Does very well going to sideline, and be able to just see where the ball is and go to it. I think that's where he sells the most. Obviously, the 116 tackles speaks for that, and the 9 interceptions too as well. And making athletic plays, like you said, always posing for the photos as well.
No, man, absolutely phenomenal with the camera. So, let's just go ahead, take that down, and bring Cree on. Cree, what's going on? I see you flexing with that Notre Dame gear already.
What's up? How are you guys?
I'm good, man, and Beetle living his best life doing his thing. Cree, Notre Dame, like you knew right away. Talk to me about that and like what went into the thought process and all that.
I really knew early on that it was Notre Dame, especially I went on my first visit there in the spring my sophomore year, and they really honed in on me 4 for 40. It's not just about football; it's about the education I can get from there. So all those aspects, and I mean they're the number 4 football team in the country right now. That all played into my decision, and I'm just super thankful for the opportunity.
True. It's cold in South Bend, so like I'm not surprised that they made sure that they gave you the long sleeve joint. But look, Cree visuals real quick before we move too far into the football stuff. Cree visuals, how's that taking off? Are you still taking pictures hobby style on the side?
It's actually been a minute since I've took some pictures, but I'll definitely pick that back up when I get to Notre Dame.
All right. Hey, I'm going to let my guy Beetle get some questions in because I know that, he's curious about a lot of things himself. So I'm going to let him get some questions in and I'll jump right back in.
Cree, you talked about Notre Dame being number 4 ranked team in the country right now, and just what has stuck out to you about the success from that team and what Coach Freeman has been able to do in such a short amount of time there?
Every year they've gotten better, and especially under Coach Freeman, like I can tell he's building something special. And all the coaches there, they're just so genuine. I felt that connection immediately. So I'm just super excited about what we can do, and hopefully we can get a natty.
What is it kind of, the whole motto there at Notre Dame is play like a champion, sort of what goes in your mind just thinking about that you're going to be playing for such a historic school that's made such a name for itself?
Yeah, I mean the tradition at Notre Dame is unmatched. It's awesome the love you get as a player there, and play like a champion. Coach Freeman, he always tells all of the commits, choose hard. That's why we're going to Notre Dame. We're choosing hard, as far as academics and football, and it'll just help us grow as young men after football as well.
Hey, Cree, I'm curious. I always bring up that this 2025 class seems to be the receiver class, loaded at receiver. Cooper Perry, Dezmen, Roebuck, Nico Boncourt, all those guys. A lot of those guys have been on your menu already. Any of them that you're looking forward to seeing at the next level? Like anyone that you want to line up across from particularly? Like not trying to put no food out there, but I'm just wondering, like who do you like to compete with?
No, we definitely have some amazing receivers in this class. I played with Dezmen and Nico on Tucson turf, so it's always fun getting to go against amazing receivers like that. I also played Cooper Perry all 4 years. It's always awesome going against good receivers, and iron sharpens iron. So I'm ready to play against anybody any day.
Hey, what can we look forward to? You spent some time playing cornerback. You also spent some time playing safety. What's it going to be at the next level for you?
Right now, I'm being recruited as a cornerback, but I do have that versatility, and I have talked about playing different positions. So we'll just see when I get there. I'm willing to go wherever coach wants me to and wherever I can help the team.
Cree, obviously, there's another player that came out of Brophy a couple years ago that's at Notre Dame, Ben Morrison. What is kind of just your communications with him and just talking to him about the whole process?
So as a freshman, Ben was a senior, and I just looked up to him so much. So I always talk to him. I ask him questions about recruiting, and just seeing the success that he had at Notre Dame, or is that he's having at Notre Dame, coming from similar background, same school, similar coaching, and the way the coaches were able to develop him. I just know, and it helps me knowing that if I continue to work hard, I can be in that same situation one day.
Hey, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let you go. This is something that I've actually always wanted to ask you.
Okay.
I do this thing. I have this yearly tradition. Me and my friends, we have this contest. It's a pumpkin carving contest. I've heard this rumor. That you are actually pretty skilled with the blade and pumpkin. Is that true?
I don't know where you heard that rumor from, but if it's a competition, I'll give it my all. So we can do that any day.
Hey, no, because I've heard that you've carved pumpkins before and that you're pretty good at it.
I mean, my mom's better than me, but I'll get some lessons and I'll get it right.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. What is the best pumpkin that you've carved? Would you say?
I don't even know. I think I drew like a face well, not like just a normal face. It was like a clown like type thing on it, and like I
Oh,
painted it in. That was probably the best one I've ever done. That was
all right.
like a couple years ago.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find out. I'm gonna enter you in this contest because it's pretty high stakes. So like you don't have to pay anything to enter. That's the cool part about it. My friend just likes to see who can do what. So I'm gonna get you in on this. Hey, Cree, I appreciate you hanging out with us. We got one more guest that we're gonna bring on, somebody that you're familiar with. So stick around, hang out, and I'm gonna catch up with you later. All right. My guy Cree Thomas, the Notre Dame commit. Hey, Beetle, we got the last one up. You timed this thing out pretty well. This might be the class of 2025's player of the year. The Washington commit, Dezmen Roebuck.
Yeah.
Absolute baller. I've actually all these kids, all 5 of these kids that we talked to, I covered for 4 years. Got to watch them all play for 4 years. Dezmen Roebuck has been absolutely ridiculous. 352 receptions, 1,000+ return yards. That's punt and kickoffs. 4,239 yards receiving, 166 tackles on defense, 40 touchdown receptions, 8 interceptions. The two-way dynamo. Is there anything that I've said that or haven't said that you can add to this on Dezmen Roebuck, the Washington commit out of Marana?
I mean, we all know he broke the receiving record earlier this season. And so, that was a huge accomplishment to see. But I think another thing, I mean, you look at this 2025 class. Yes, you've got some very talented athletes. I would argue that there was no player that other colleges wanted more in this recruiting class than Dezmen Roebuck. I think that he just has the ability to make such athletic plays, be able to get there, to get up and bring the ball down, or just beat you on the ground. I think that he possesses all the key abilities and attributes that you would want a Division I wide receiver to have. And Jed Fish obviously was recruiting him back when he was at U of A, and then kept recruiting him when he was at Washington. I mean, this is a perfect pickup for the Huskies.
Absolutely amazing. Hey, we've kept my man on hold for a little bit too long, so let's bring on the superstar wide receiver committed to the University of Washington, the one and only, the boy from Marana, Dezmen Roebuck, who took Marana 10-0 into the Open. And a lot of people believe that was the biggest accomplishment for a Marana team, which also has had Trenton Bourget, Jordan Morgan, a ton of super talented kids come out of. Dez, how are you doing, man? And how are you feeling right now?
I'm doing good, man. I feel good. Yeah, I'm just getting ready for basketball now. So,
multi-sport athlete, absolutely love that, man. I gotta know, man. I covered you. I watched you for the first time when you were like in like 8th grade, 7th grade, playing sevens and stuff, and you were always playing up versus the high level teams, national team for Tucson Turf. At what point did you just realize, like, yo, man, I know I can play not just at the next level, I can probably play at the next level?
Yeah, growing up, I always grew up playing with my older cousins and stuff, and then when I got put into football, I never wanted to play against kids my own age because it wasn't really fun for me. So growing up, I always just played with the older kids, and I just loved to compete. So it just all worked out.
Dez, you're just all over the place on the field, whether you're taking kick returns, receiving the ball on defense, snatching interceptions. How do you, week after week, just continue to keep that same energy and same momentum? It just seems like you never get tired out there on the field.
Yeah, well, my coach runs us at practice, so we're really conditioned. But other than that, I just been hungry since my freshman year. Since everybody really doubted Marana and me going to Marana, so I just really wanted to prove myself right and prove my family right that I can go do this and do it at a high level.
Dez, just going back to some of the accomplishments you have, breaking that receiving record earlier this season, what did that kind of mean for you? And now that you're leaving Marana, what do you want Marana to? What do you want to be known for your time at Marana?
Yeah, well, it meant a lot to me breaking that record just because I come from a very small town, and I could have went to a lot of different high schools in the state of Arizona, and I'm glad that I stayed at Marana just to show that like my younger cousins and kids that grew up at Marana, that you can come to a school that's very like not well known, and you can make a name for yourself and make a name for the school you go to. And what was the second question? My bad.
Like,
My bad.
how do you want your time at Marana to be remembered?
Yeah. Shoot. Well, I just want to be remembered as just a kid that gave it his all, on and off the field, being a good person off the field, and just working hard, working my tail off.
Hey, you brought up your younger cousins and you wanted to be a role model and an example for them. Your little brother, you leave us with your little brother. What was it like getting to play with him? And what was it like watching him make all those big plays versus Higley, versus Hamilton? Like, were you like, hey, I helped him get there? Like, what was it like watching all that develop?
Yeah, it was definitely a blessing, just growing up with my little brother. We always would fight over everything we did. We were the biggest competitors in our family, I think. And it was just so great to see him just go off this season. He had a really good year. And I told him since the summer, he worked his butt off in the summer. He was with me every day, summer workouts. After practice, we get extra work in. And I just told him to keep his head down and keep working, and he'll get recognized real soon.
I love it, man. Hey, how much of an influence was Trenton Bourget on you? Because I know you guys are very, very close, cousin, whatever. Like, I see you guys together all the time. Obviously, Tucson Turf. How much of an influence on your football career did Trenton have?
Yeah, well, growing up, he was definitely a big role model of mine. When I first started football, I actually wanted to be a quarterback, and I was a quarterback until like fifth grade, and I wanted to be just like Trenton. He was just a great person on the field or off the field, and on the field, he was just a straight dog. And him going to Marana really because I used to go to all the games. I used to be the ball boy. I used to watch him torch defenses up, and him and Coben and my brother and all those guys. So it just really that was really the main reason why I really wanted to stay at Marana and just show everybody that I can make a name for myself and I can put Marana back on the map.
Des, talking about your decision to go to Washington, kind of what were some of the factors that led up to that, and how has your relationship continue to build with Jed Fish since he moved from Arizona to the Huskies?
Yeah, Jed Fish, he's a really good guy. He's a really good coach, as you can see. But yeah, we've really just been in touch ever since he left Arizona, and he's always wanted to say, he always will tell me that he wanted to coach me. So. We just been a connection the past 3 years, and that's really what made me want to commit, and that's why I signed today, just because of how loyal he was to me and how loyal his coaching staff was to me. And the visit that I took up there, it just felt like home. Everything felt right. The coaching staff, the players, everything just felt right. So,
hey, after this, I'm gonna let you go, but you got another local legend that you get to work with, Demond Williams. Adam Muhammad's up there, also Michael Watkins, but Demond Williams specifically as a quarterback from Basha and stuff up there at UW. Has he reached out at all? Because I know he's got to be super grateful to have you coming up there.
Yeah, we talked before. I went to the game when they played USC. I talked to him a little bit after the game, and I'm just excited to get up there and play with him, just because I've always played against him, so playing against him would be really fun, or playing with him would be really fun.
Hey, your pop's still the coach over there at Marana for basketball?
Coach? Yeah, he's still the coach. Yeah.
Hey, I'm wondering, do you think that you're the best multi-sport athlete, basketball, football player in the state?
In the state?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see. Let me think. Probably. It's either me or who's the kid from Casa Grande? Big kid.
Avion.
He's a baller too. He can hoop.
I was thinking you, Avion, or Rico.
Rico, oh yeah, he's a hooper too. Yeah.
All you wide receivers, and because a lot of football players think they can play basketball, but they really can't.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You know that. So, hey, Dez, I'm super excited for you, man. Washington. I know that there was a lot of chatter, a lot of people chatting about flipping and all that stuff, and I know that you stayed locked in. Coach Cummings is super excited to have you come up there. So, Dez, I'm gonna let you get your hoop in, and I'm gonna catch you on the court. I'm gonna come out and watch a Marana game for sure.
All right, for sure.
All right, take care, man. Hey, listen. listen, Adam. But before we close this thing out, Washington, the type of player that they got.
Yeah,
these numbers, like Wyatt's numbers are insane for a quarterback. Cree's numbers are absolutely fantastic. Anderson Kopp, 0 sacks. That's disgusting for 2 years. And Aidan Browder, what he's been able to do over there at Chandler, super accomplished. Dez's numbers, absolute. Nobody's ever going to break that reception mark. We're not going to be alive.
No.
There's no way.
No, it's going to be probably some like cyborg robot football player in the year like 21, like something that'll come in and break that record. But I mean there's really no way to no other way to put Dezmen's high school career other than it was one of the best. And I think you look at these stats, and these are all the kind of stats that you would want a Big Ten wide receiver to have. I'm super excited to see the AZ takeover we're about to see in Washington with Damon Williams and Dezmen Roebuck. I mean,
and Adam.
I think, and Adam, I think that people are slowly going to see that's going to turn into one of the best offenses in the country.
Man, I'm super excited. Listen, man, Dez is absolutely special. I don't think that people really I don't think that people can really process and understand. Like, I know that everybody is like, oh, he's a cool receiver, catches a lot of passes, volume guy, but like what he's done on the field is absolutely different. And look, man, we had 5 spectacular guests. Real quick before we really end this thing, though, since we showed NAU love, we definitely got to make sure that we show ASU and U of A some love for their local recruiting classes. U of A, obviously, with the Higley quarterback Luke Halgo committed. They have some guys. So who are some guys that we've missed on that we haven't brought up? I know Jackson Griffin also. Who are some other guys that we've missed that we haven't talked about?
I mean, let's start with U of A, because Anderson mentioned him earlier. Caleb Jones, defensive lineman from Mountain Point. I mean, talking about a guy, like you just said, monster. I mean, that's a guy who I think will be able to work really well with that defensive staff over there at U of A and grow him into a great player. Obviously, you got the quarterback, the Higley man himself, Luke Halgo, who I actually saw. He was down there last week in that Territorial Cup. He'll be there. Spending some time, who really knows what the situation is going to look like with Fafita this offseason, if we're being honest. Then obviously got Gio Richardson, one of the other great wide receivers. Richardson I think Richardson has probably the best chance out of any of these guys, maybe except for Logan Powell, to play right
Dez
away.
is playing right away.
I think Dez will play right away too, for sure. No, yeah, that Dez and Gio, I think, are the 2 guys that have the best potential of playing right away. And then who am I missing? You talk about Jackson Griffin, Dejon Hinton as well. I got to talk about Dejon Hinton, top 10 player in the state. Obviously, he's kind of had a rough going his last 2 high school seasons with the injury and just kind of being out. But I think that about hits U of A. You talk over about ASU. ASU probably got one of the most underrated athletes in the state in Uriah Nellums.
Facts. Kid's absolutely tough. I got to watch him earlier this year. I got to watch him go. He was playing quarterback. Quarterback, but I know he's being recruited as a wide receiver. Also got a gadget guy, kind of. I know he's being recruited as a quarterback also, but Butter Tollefson, my man's got some feet, and that's the one thing that he was definitely really able to showcase while at his time in Mountain Point. So I know he can throw the ball well because I've seen him at Elite 11. But he's going to go into camp. He's going to get some opportunities. He's going to compete with obviously Cam Dyer, the kid from New Mexico that everybody saw with Pinnacle. So super unique situation because all 3 of these guys can do a lot of things.
Yeah, Arizona State's recruiting class, I think that's the one thing that sticks out to me is they've got a lot of guys in the 25 class that can do a lot of different things. You got a guy like Tristan Bacon, who's super fast, another local kid, recruiting him as a linebacker, but he also has super quick feet. You talk about Butter. You talk about Cameron Dyer, who was able to beat Pinnacle early on in the season, who was the believe he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in New Mexico last season. Yeah. Play quarterback. ASU's recruiting him as a wide receiver. I think that Dyer, when I see Dyer play, when I see his highlights, he kind of reminds me a lot of Ethan Long, who was recruited by ASU a couple of years ago. Kind of played that sort of anytime I see a quarterback that can also do multiple things on the field, I immediately think of Taysom Hill. And the way that you look at Taysom Hill, he's just this built athlete. Used to be one of the fastest guys in the NFL, was out there like taking kick returns and punt returns. You could give him a little, reverse and have him, throw it deep. So I think that's the big thing about this Arizona State recruiting class, and something Kenny Dillingham highlighted earlier today is now that they're in the Big 12, he wanted to focus on getting bigger and faster. And so they've got a lot of guys on their offensive line that they're bringing in that will make an immediate impact. They've got one of the most underrated tight ends in the country in AJ Aya.
Hold on. AJ Aya might be one of the best tight ends that I've seen
for sure
in the country, and I've seen a couple of them. I've seen Kendra Harrison over in North Carolina. I've seen Bowman from Modern Day. Aya is one of the best tight ends that I've seen in the country. Coach Mons is doing an absolutely fantastic job out there recruiting. AJ's a monster.
Yeah, and you know what? I think what's going to help AJ too is you've got a guy like Shimon Mateer who's returning to ASU next season, so he'll kind of be seasoned, be able to show the young guys the rope. And then ASU also gets Jaden Fortier back, who is the best player in Oregon from last year's recruiting class. So first of all, Jason Mons is going to have an absolute arsenal to use next year in terms of big guys in the tight end position. And I think ASU is really putting themselves in this class. I think another guy we saw him play earlier this year. I think you've seen Corona Centennial play this year, Corey Butler, who's probably the fastest guy, also one of the smartest guys in ASU's recruiting class. Kenny Dillingham said he's the first player he's had that has a faster 40 or a higher GPA than his 40 time. Corey Butler is a 4.5 GPA.
Insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, ASU is I really commend what Kenny Dillingham has done this cycle, and really they do a fantastic job evaluating their recruits. And I've seen that throughout fall camp and practices this season. The second and third team guys, who are most of the freshmen and the transfers, guys like Rodney Bimage, who at times has gotten playing time for ASU this season, guys like Martell Hughes, who has done big things on special teams for ASU this year. And then a local recruit who also has had an impressive just kind of season, although he's, been scout team practicing, Plas Johnson. We're talking about a super big fast, athletic. Hit that big onside kick recovery. ASU is, I think, setting themselves up for success in the next couple of years in the Big 12 conference. And it's because their recruitment is aligning with the type of teams they are going to face.
All right. Hey, look, a complete show. The official Arizona National Signing Day show. Me, my guy Beetle, holding it down. Listen, Adam, I really appreciate you hanging out. The official host and voice of Flight Club, but not just that. Award-winning with his Adam Beetle show. So shout out to you for that. And does the weekend preview every Friday. Also, running with Hypermark, my guy Zach Elvira brought you on. Listen, you're doing a ton of things, and I absolutely love it. Getting a ton of coverage out there. I know you'll be there, Big 12 title game. That'll be super exciting. So everybody, make sure that you follow my guy at The Real Beetle on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Adam, I know that you got something to go to. Looks like you're kind of dressed up and ready to get out there for that. So I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna sign off real quick.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
All right, my man. You know the deal. Forks up forever.
Appreciate you.
And we'll do this again next year, but I'll definitely see you like way before then. Cool.
Oh yeah, I'll probably see you in like a week.
Oh, highly likely. All right, man. Take care.
All right, later.